As Jason said, my name is Riway, and today I'd like to present in 3 sections. Firstly, I want to talk about my background. Secondly, why and how I got involved in Riway. And thirdly, what I feel is the potential and vision of this company. So my background is, at the age of 22, I graduated from university. And also, at that stage, I had an intense interest in personal development. So I was reading books that you may know of, like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And as Jason mentioned, Tony Robbins. I realized Tony Robbins was coming to London in Wembley. And I remember saving up, and it was £600 for the one day. And I attended Tony Robbins. And that, for me, was significant. The reason being, that was my first exposure to NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and positive mental attitude, the mindset, goal setting. And that had a significant effect on me because I made a decision on that day to become an entrepreneur. So what I meant was, as opposed to renting a flat, which I was about to, I bought my first property at age 22. 4 years later, I then bought myself a pharmacy with a flat above and the freehold, and I was there for 15 years. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was very challenging, but extremely rewarding. But due to circumstances and changes, I decided to sell the pharmacy 10 years ago. The reason being was I was losing control. The government had made changes on how pharmacists get reimbursed. So I realized that the future for me was not in pharmacy. I had to change and look at the next big trend. I currently now have 3 businesses. One is I value pharmacies like an estate agent, and I then sell pharmacies to prospective buyers. Secondly, I have my own property development business, and I'm building now a luxurious golf and spa hotel in Bulgaria. And thirdly, I arrange finance for property developers. So that's a bit on my background. Now, for those of you who know me and have my business card, I have a caption on my card which says, "Your mind is like a parachute, it works best when it is open." So when my good friend Paban Khatri came along with Jason Solis, who I'd never met before, and mentioned to me about the opportunity of Riway in January, I was open for new ideas. Even though being trained as a pharmacist, I'm used to dispensing medicines that doctors prescribe, and even though I've always had a holistic approach in healing people. So when they mentioned, showing the slides of how this product had treated over 1 million people in the last 10 years, where conditions such as diabetes, type 1, type 2, cancer, psoriasis, where I was prescribing steroids and moisturizing creams, all these conditions were treated with a stem cell. I had an idea. I said, if this is true, if this really is true, this is as significant as when they invented antibiotics. This is a medical breakthrough. But I decided then to do my due diligence. And that involved, number one, I had to believe in the product. So I asked Pub, and I bought some products. I started to use the product. Now, this is January. I used to play a lot of 5-side football and squash. 5 years ago, I slipped my disc in my lower back. As a result, I've had MRI, X-rays, physiotherapy every morning, pain in my lower back, sciatica. So I was basically managing the pain with anti-inflammatories, with sleeping in the right posture. It had a great effect on my lifestyle. But having used the product for only 3 weeks, just 3 weeks, all those conditions went. In other words, and since then, so since January, so the last 6 months now, I've been pain-free. My sciatica is gone. I can play squash now. I'm back to normal. So for me, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. How does the product work? What's it doing? Is it growing new tissue in my lower back? My disc has been repaired. This was really significant. I then made the decision to go to Singapore in April. So let me research this company. Let me meet the patients. Let me make sure this is true. So having gone to Singapore in April, the first person I met was David Dio. As Jason touched on, type 1 diabetes, 26 years, no longer on insulin. That is an absolutely amazing achievement. Talk to him how he used the product, saw his clinical results. Within 9 months, he was no longer on insulin. Plus, all the other conditions he had gout, he had a few other conditions, all disappeared. I then met a patient who had psoriasis. I met cancer patients. I met a patient who had a kidney fault. All conditions had gone. And as a pharmacist, I also took the initiative to meet another pharmacist in Singapore who is now in the business for 5 years. I talked to a couple of doctors. So I really did my research as a clinician, as a pharmacist. I wanted to make sure that the product, number one, works. And I was amazed that the same product that Jason mentioned, the same product treats all conditions. So this is a real breakthrough. I also had the opportunity to research the company, Riway. I was very impressed with what I saw. I liked the philosophy of the company. I liked where the company was going. It had longevity in mind. The company was investing in its people. The company was investing in research and development. So as Jason mentioned, this is edition 6. So 10 years ago, it was just the stem cells from the deer placenta that treated all the conditions. In the last 10 years, every 2 years, they're adding ingredients like dendrobium. Dendrobium is one of the most expensive herbs in China. It's about 300 pounds per gram. It grows on the hills. They're adding other ingredients to make it a better product. Why is that? Because they care about the people, number one. They haven't increased the price of the product in the last 10 years, which is amazing, because research and development is normally very expensive. The price hasn't increased. They're adding other ingredients to make the product more unique so that the competitors can't get to us. We have a 10-year head start. So when I realized all this was happening with the company, I saw for myself that the product really works. So I made a decision to get involved in Riway in April. 3 main reasons. So number one, at that stage, I had 100% belief in the product. For me, the product was definitely working, full stop. Number two, my way of living, I like to approach things in a holistic way. So as opposed to just treating the symptoms, treat the cause. So this was in mirror with the way I live. And then number 3, I also saw an opportunity. Even though I'm already a successful businessman, I actually saw a huge opportunity in this. I saw an opportunity whereby I could start a business with minimal outlay. The company's only requirement is use the product, make sure you have belief in the product. But this can develop into a global business on a part-time basis without affecting your other business. And as a result, not only earning money and making a difference in people's lives, I felt morally it's my duty now to tell people about this. But I could also see a future of helping people become financially free and helping myself also becoming financially free. So that's the reasons why I joined the business. Also, I realized it was a fun business. You get to travel, you meet people, and you get to develop personally as well. Now, where I feel now, the last section, the potential of the business is huge. Right now, how Riway works is, as Jason mentioned, the turnover last year was $4 billion. Now, this is without advertising. This is purely by word of mouth recommendation. 4 billion is huge. And 65% is paid back to people who get involved. Our job is simply, we are messengers and educators. We inform people of what the product does, and we educate them on how it works. That's our pure job. But 65% of the 4 billion, Riway pays back in commission. So as a result, this has created a lot of financially independent individuals in Singapore. Most of them started off by using the product. So most of our distributors, you must become a consumer first, and then you recommend. So that's huge. So right now, the company has a track record of 10 years, number one, and they want to now launch into England. Right now, this is the pre-launch. We're in the pre-launch. It's so early. These are all the people in the UK. And UK has huge potential. This is the launch pad into Europe and then globally. So the way I look at it, many people aspire to have their own business. A lot of people are now losing their jobs. A lot of people graduate from university and can't find a job. A lot of people buy a business, but within 5 years, 95% of them don't exist. So everyone wants to survive, number one, but what we offer is not only survival, it's also passive income, whereby if you build the business correctly and properly, it's a walk-away income. In 5 years, you can walk away from this because on the strength of the product is too good. You get the repeat sales. The company does everything for you, basically. So as long as you're 18 in age, the company will give you an ID number. That ID number is willable, sellable, and transferable. So in my case, my pharmacy, I have to sell my pharmacy. But now with this business, I know with the longevity of Riway, I can pass this down to my daughter. The company does all the accounting. They give you a software package to track your business globally, working for you. There's training involved as well. There's personal development. So the company takes care of all the risks of expanding into a new country. Your job is simply to use the product, see value in the product, and give that message out to others. But you get reimbursed in a unique way. So, in conclusion, I think the opportunity right now is huge. My vision of the company is that this is going to be the number one company in the direct selling association. The number one company, full stop. It's also going to create a lot of financially free people. It's also going to get the attention of a lot of doctors and pharmacists and patients who use the product. And the best form of advertising is word of mouth. They'll simply get cured and they'll tell everyone. So how it works, it's a miracle. It's like how a baby is conceived. Yeah? From 2 cells, you get a fully grown baby. That's the power of stem cells. And right now, we're at that pioneering time with a company who's forward-thinking. They have a product which is live stem cells in a capsule. We're 15 years ahead of all the other companies. And right now, we're the only people here sharing. So our responsibility today is to give you the message. Please, the fact that you're here, do your research, do your due diligence, ask us questions. Try the product, because everyone after the age of 25, stem cells are depleted in your body. Everyone has to age. So the product not only treats conditions, it also helps you, prevents you from getting conditions, number one. It also helps you with the beauty, with keeping younger. The product helps your body to produce fibroblasts, which then produces collagen. So therefore, the implications are wrinkles, fine lines, stretch marks, acne. Potentially is huge. So I hope that's helped. I'd like now to pass back to Jason, who's going to conclude on the